Right now in Poland, in Warsaw.
Okay.
Yeah, and the rest of the team is split between Poland, Georgia, and some of the teammates are still in Belarus.
Excellent. So what is your angle? Because I was just basically given your details. I shared your details by our owner. So I really have very little or nothing in regards to the angle of the conversation and how we want to proceed further.
I got it. So first of all, maybe just let me give you a brief glimpse of who we are, what we're doing. So basically, Celadon is a tech partner that's been consulting and helping companies, restaurants and food and beverage companies in the ways how to, do all the technical stuff, and we help the companies to with software development, tech solutions that increases their presence on the market. And right now we have a really good accumulated information about what's going on the market in restaurants and food and beverage business in general. And we would like to, we're running a series of podcasts with owners, restaurant owners, and would like afterwards to share the information about what's going on in the market with owners as well. So even though we possess knowledge about what's going on in the market, there is always something that we knew with every call to stay sharp in this business, to know better our customers.
And this podcast is a virtual podcast, or it's something done in situ?
It's a virtual podcast. There will be a link shared with you, and if you want, we will post it only if you approve it. Otherwise,
so whatever we're discussing now will be formatted into a podcast if I agree. Is that what it is?
that's totally correct. Otherwise, if you believe that's something that we would like to share, you will have a white paper information about what might be helpful in your business. Maybe there is something that you already did and implemented. Maybe there is something to consider about. So yeah, that's how we proceed, how we operate. And as I mentioned, the podcast will be posted only if you want it on our website. If not, there is nothing to be posted. So sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
So let's jump into the meeting, because I assume that you have a really strict deadline. So,
Yes.
Afan, I was able to do some homework and to read about the Magloba restaurant, but maybe you can tell me more about the organization, what it does, and who are you? Are you a franchise or a self-esteemed corporate?
Okay, excellent. Well, Magluba was a company that was founded in 2018. So we've been basically trading for the last 7 years. It's a company that was brought to life by the owner, who's now the chairman, the creator, Mr. Abdurrahman Al Mubarak. And the vision was to take his passion of food, which he has basically developed through his love of camping and reliving flavors that his mother has shared with him, and bring it into a business. So basically, this was the genesis. The genesis was, I like food, I'm an engineer. How can I basically bring these two assets together and create a viable business? So the first location was opened up in 2018, and it was basically, the results were amazing in regards to sales. And the reason and the rationale for this was, Abdurrahman was successful, in creating an heirloom product, which was harking back to old flavors, which were basically missing in the commercial landscape. So he brought back these very homely flavors. So the first reaction we get when people eat our food is, man, it reminds me of my mother's food, or my home cooked food, or my grandmother's food. So this is basically the focus and the success behind Magluba, is the quality and the taste that goes into the end product. Plus, bringing the humble rice grain that was usually eaten as a shared dish to the individual consumer. So taking something that was traditional, served on a platter or served in a plastic bag, and brought up to the 21st century in a box, in a pizza box, in a container, which was something that was convenient and something that could be eaten individually or as a shared group based on the size of the product. So this is basically what we've done, is we've taken old flavors, repackaged them creatively, introduced new world flavors, and created the brand called Magluba.
Great, thanks for this introduction. And as I understand, you have multiple locations, correct?
Correct. Presently, we have now 12 locations. We are in the process of ever increasing the number of locations that we have. And at some point, we are looking maybe 2 years or 3 years from now to be in a position to go IPO.
So that sounds quite promising, and definitely something that should be helping you to also, like, boosting the business and increase the number of applications, the number of employees. But how many employees do you currently have?
Presently, we have 300 plus employees in
Wow.
12 locations. Yes. So we manage. It's a small medium enterprise. It's not
Mhm.
large and it's not very small. We're basically a nascent enterprise that is now from a startup into the mid size.
I see. I got it. And when we speak about locations, are they all the same within a specific country, or you decided to split between several
We
countries?
we are all based. All our locations presently are based in Riyadh, excluding one
Riyadh.
that's just outside of Riyadh. As far as location formats are concerned, we have our big flagship stores. We have our strip and end-line stores, and we have the first drive-through location that we have set up as a prototype. And we were the first restaurant and sorry rice brand that's been introduced in the international airport in Riyadh. So the domestic airport in T5, we are basically the first rice restaurant or traditional type of restaurant that's opening up and has successfully opened up there. We've been trading now for the last 1 year there. So we have multiple formats, and we are forever developing and tinkering with the brand from big to small. And this is the continual optimization that we are all about.
I see. Well, it's definitely a huge win, because having opening in like an airport at a place where that accepts a lot
And
of
this,
people, a lot of
and
tourists.
this hopefully will take us, hopefully, this will at some point introduce us into the international lounge, which will then take us to the world in regards to franchising. So, this is the route of us being physically there at the airport. Initially, it will be there as a route to get us nationally known with all people moving in and out of Riyadh. And then it will be a stepping stone for us to get into the international lounge, airside, which will hopefully take us to Jakarta, India, Egypt, London, and so forth, where we already have our logo, trademark, and IPs
Mhm.
registered.
I see, got it. Since we've already touched the ground about your plans within, like, let's say 2 years or 3 years, what if I mind asking, so what are the Magloba's goals for the next, let's say, 6 months, 12 months, and also 36 months, which is basically 3 years, except for the
Again,
going?
can you repeat that?
Yeah. So basically, what are, as a CEO of the company, how do you see, what are the goals for the next, let's say, 6 months, 12 months, maybe 36 months, except for the going into the IPO? Maybe there is something else, if you can share that as well.
The goals are to remain positive, profitability wise, is to control our ever increasing costs, to open up more stores, to have a more marketing messaging that grows and develops the existing stores and brings in new revenue. As the CEO, my role is very simple: is to drive the business, open up more stores, and overall make the company profitable. It's very simple.
Loud and clear, simple, but doesn't make things easier.
Correct. Simple but very difficult to do at the same time.
Exactly. You've already mentioned that there are always something that like additional costs, that's over increasing costs. I assume they are part of, like, let's not call them problems, but challenges. So what are the extra challenges you're facing right now, and you're also responsible for?
The challenges are we're always in a challenge. The market is full of challenges. The number one challenge I would say would be the high operational cost of running a business in Saudi. Inflation, high rentals, high occupancy cost, a non-stable supply chain, which directly affects your prime cost. So these are the key challenges: is how to manage, maintain, and keep on top of these three parameters. Keeping and hiring labor and retaining talent. This is also another challenge. Most of our labor, although there is a drive and we are successful in that, in bringing Saudis on board in key roles, but most of the mainstay of the work is still done by expatriates. And these expatriates are actually brought in from outside. So logistically, there's always a challenge of finding, hiring, and retaining growing talent. So this, I would say, would be another challenge. Another challenge from a marketing perspective would be trying to keep the attention of a generation that has no attention. The attention span of the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha is somewhat in seconds. So whatever
Mhm.
messaging you do has to resonate loud and clear and get them through the door. Otherwise, the story has moved on. Old style marketing is no longer working. So the attention span of the target customer is so small. This is also another challenge. So you need to continue to invest and reinvest and invest and reinvest and continue to think of new ways of getting a very simple message out to a wider audience.
Exactly. And when it
And I think this is part of the consumer behavior. The consumer behavior now is a challenge, especially with the amount of competition that we see directly as far as the QSR brand is concerned, and indirectly as a rice somewhat leader in this segment.
Mhm.
So there is competitions. There is a lot of copycat brands, Me Too brands that come in, and they fall by the wayside after 18 to 26, 36 months, but they eat into our top line and our bottom line. So I think these are the major challenges that we have is in operating. I would actually end with the third party aggregator who is actually marketing an increase in revenue, but at a cost, and that cost is quite significant when it comes to the bottom line. So it's how to keep the third party on board without sacrificing your ability to stay afloat, because they take a significant chunk from your operating revenue.
Exactly.
And this segment is forever growing. And with the need of convenience, people are just heading towards the third party platform. So this is the challenges I think that I have in front of me is how
Mhm.
to drive my own app, how to drive people to my store,
Mhm.
uh, so that I can basically counter the wave that's coming through the third party app.
I see. Well, yeah, I've been talking to a lot of people, operation directors, CEOs running business, and well, almost every second person mentions that relying on third-party services has huge pros and cons at the same time. Like,
The
yeah,
pros definitely are that you are able to tap a huge amount of customer
exactly.
that one wouldn't be able to tap. But the cons is it comes at a huge cost, and you are not able to then control your customer. You really don't know who
Definitely.
that customer is. You can't data mine. You cannot reach out directly. You don't know what works, what doesn't work. So there are huge pros in accelerating your revenue, but at the cost.
Exactly. I think it's a good. It might be a good starting point, but when you're somewhere in the mid, you have to think about something extra because, like relying so much on third-party services kind of similar to blind dating. You don't know with whom you're talking. What
Exactly.
similar do you have with that person? And when you rely so much on the data, when you have to know your customer, it stays this. And you already mentioned that you have to figure out about what's going on in Gen Z and young generation that ahead. That's also something that you lack, and I understand that.
You're literally driving a car with a blindfold, and you don't know to go whether you're going to go left or right, and why you're going left or right. And if you do hit a roadblock, you'll only feel it once you hit it because you're literally blind. This is and I believe all restaurants within the segment generally are facing the same issues,
Mhm,
that the ever encroaching footprint of the
mhm,
aggregator is making wholesome businesses unwholesome because they
mhm.
take such a chunk of your business, and then it's like a cocaine addict. Once you're on the ride, you can't get off. Get off
Exactly.
you're gonna go cold turkey. So this is unfortunately the space of business that we're working in at the moment.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
It's a really funny comparison, but anyway, it doesn't make things easier. So, but since we've already touched this ground and we discussed all these orders, I know that Magloba has its own very well crafted mobile application that people are really satisfied with, and I saw that people are happy with it. They love how ordering system and ordering the stuff is kind of easy. Even a child can order anything. But as we were discussing, if you can disclose it, what percentage of your orders in general come to through your own channels compared with third-party services, as you mentioned?
I would say that we're looking at circa 10 to 15% would be from the app itself. The remaining would be you walk through the door, and then you would have a certain amount. I don't know if I want to disclose this amount, the breakdowns, but specifically for the app itself, we're looking at circa 10 to 15%.
I see. So it's mostly highly reliable on third parties rather than your own application.
The third party basically would be circa 40%, and then the remaining would be your takeouts and your diners who walk in to the stores.
I see. I got it. Regarding app itself, I guess I did notice maybe also does your application supports the loyalty system as well?
Yes, there is a loyalty system ingrained into the system. Yes, and as far as the technology is concerned, the owner is very much driving this, and he is an engineer and a tech freak. So he basically is the person responsible for further thinking and adding on, and he has his ears very much to the ground in regards to this. So whatever news happening, even now with the introduction of our self-ordering kiosks, and then we are now looking at introducing AI into menu engineering and maybe taking AI into replacing cashiers completely. So instead of going to a cashier into a kiosk, now we have the traditional cashier. Due to the nature of our business, the ordering system is quite complex. It's not like a burger. So the downtime of going to a kiosk is much, much longer than to speak to a human being. So we're now looking at a way of bridging this where we can use technology, but introduce AI to speed up the transaction and give all the necessary inputs that the consumer may need to be able to make the right decision, and hence reduce payroll.
I see.
These are some of the things that we're presently looking at.
I got it. And one more thing when it comes to online orders, we all know that COVID has affected the globe, whether we wanted it or not. And most restaurants were forced to run online orders. And when it comes to Magloba, how our online orders are currently held, except for the third-party platforms? I assume there is also your own application.
As far as online orders are concerned, they use our app. So the medium or the channel is our app for online orders. You have basically your physical people walking through the door, and then as far as online is concerned, it's all the way through the app. We now have a voice activated system whereby people can actually call in now. So we're adding to the channel to make it easier for certain people who would actually prefer to speak to a human being. So we're introducing more customization and having a single number where people can actually call in and place their orders.
I see. I got it. Makes sense. Totally makes sense. Also, one thing that came into my mind as we were discussing regarding all the locations, all the business running. When I was talking to other restaurant owners or people running that tasty but challenging business, I often heard that the biggest challenge isn't the order volume, but it's operational breakdown during peaks. So what's your version of that?
Yes, the thing is, unlike Europe, where you hire people by the hour and by the day, here, when we bring in employees, they are on fixed contracts. So whether we are busy or we are quiet, we have to pay the salaries. So there is a high front-end cost when it comes to payroll and efficiency. You can't schedule, you'll be working these hours and then you can go home. then you'll come back with these hours. No, an individual comes in and he works 8 hours, whether it's busy or it's quiet. So due to this, artificially, we are higher when it comes to the rest of the world, when it comes to payroll. Optimization wise, that is the direct challenge, because we may have times where we have more staff and we have less customers. There are also then times where we have less customers, more customers and less staff. So it's quite difficult in trying to bridge both ends. Our business itself, most of the sales are geared towards lunch. So there's possibly a 60-40 split. We've taken an evening meal and we've introduced it to a lunch crowd. This is the big success that has come about by Magluba, is that we've taken a product that's probably consumed at home on the floor with his family, and we've taken it to his car where he can consume it whilst driving, or on his desk while he finishes his meeting, and so forth. So the lunch crowd is much bigger than the evening crowd.
I see, I got it. And since it's also connected with the stuff, I'm really curious about when orders come in from like multiple channels. Does the staff ever struggle to prioritize or manage them, or how does it work at Magloba?
I think no. We have multiple channels. We have multiple KDS screens. We have multiple. So as far as the SOPs are concerned, it's very much down to an art form now. You have a cashier that's dedicated for people walking in, and then you have other screens that are dedicated for orders that are coming in from other channels. And then the way the food is dispatched as well, it's dispatched to different areas. So no, operationally, we don't really have a problem with that.
Well, that really sounds great. You almost made me to book a ticket to Riyadh and taste your food.
You're more than welcome. You can be my guest when you come to Riyadh.
I got it. Thank you, Arfan. And one more question, because we're running out of time, and I assume that you busy. I understand that. Have you ever had issues with delays or missed items that were specific to online or third-party orders?
This is one of the major issues that we have, is that due to the policies established by the third-party companies, they have a zero quibble policy. If anybody complains for anything, they return their money back and we get charged. We have a system whereby each order is tracked visually through cameras. But even though at the end of the day, we will have missing orders, wrong orders, this is part of the business. Cold orders, foreign bodies in certain orders. These are the things that we have to deal with, whether it's delays in drivers. And yes, there is human error, but I believe that maybe human error is 50% of the picture. The remaining 50% is the consumer behavior. Let's put it that way.
Well, definitely, I understand that this is the pain point that most restaurants face, and they have to figure out what's the best strategy.
We lose a lot of money. We lose a lot of money from the back end through these type of issues.
I got it. Well, Arfan, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for this postcard and the information and your presence. I really appreciate it. The next steps, I'll share the white paper with you with all the information I've collected so far that can help you. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
Great. And before I go, as I mentioned, that we as a company also help some restaurants and food and beverage companies. You mentioned something about relying so hard on third-party services, and that that's the major problem for you is when you're charged and that you miss some of the items. So are you opposed to organizing another call to delve deeper into these areas? I'm just asking because we recently worked with McDonald's and also with San Martin Bakery from Central America. These guys had absolutely the same issue. And I assume that we might figure out a thing or two how to make things better for Magloba.
Well, we're actually talking to some IT developers on a system that can basically help us with this issue. So if there's something that you guys can propose, we're more than welcome to look at it.
I got it.
because because it's possibly maybe 1% to 1.5% of the number of transactions have disappeared.
I got it. What's the best time works for you when we can jump in and delve it deeper? Maybe in the same time next week?
For this particular issue.
Yeah.
What I would do is I would basically connect you up with the IT, because I am a very non-IT. The IT is not my specialty. So what I could do is I could actually connect you up with the COO and the person in charge of IT, who would be the best people to possibly have a conversation about this.
I would appreciate that. But even though it would be great to discuss not only with the tech department, but you as a business owner, because we understand what are the pain points, and our approach is that we translate all the business stuff to the technical stuff and talk back again. Because our customers, they don't have to be tech savvy, tech enthusiasts at all. It's our reliability and headache at the end of the day.
What I would do is that once you've shared the initial conversation that we've had, and we see where we need to go with this, we can then basically at another level is you can arrange to have a conversation with my team and see what are the solutions after hearing their pain points you could possibly propose, and we could take that as on another level.
I think that might be a great starting point if you can redirect it. So I would really appreciate if you can, contact us and make us a match to discuss it within at least a 1 hour meeting.